Really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got...
The upcoming trial for YNW Melly is set to be very different from the first one. On Sunday, January 26th, it was announced that Melly's ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton, was arrested as she returned to the U.S. Mariah, who is the daughter of key witness Felicia Holmes, has been taken into custody in Miami County. She's not expected to get a bond, as a warrant for her arrest had already been issued during the first trial. Mariah will likely be questioned about her involvement in witness tampering. She's been on the run ever since before the original trial, and now the feds want answers. Authorities investigated her iCloud and found evidence linking her to YNW Melly, including actions that seemed to show she was forced not to testify. If the witness tampering claims are proven, Melly could face life in prison, regardless of whether he was involved in the deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie.
They raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They'll be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother.
This couldn't have come at a worse time. The feds have been searching for Mariah Hamilton for over a year, trying to get answers about the deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie. And right before Melly's second trial starts, she suddenly returns to the U.S. The feds had already been looking into her, especially after people in Melly's hometown started talking about her possible role in the crime. YNW Juvie's father even launched his own investigation, asking around and talking to people he knew. Through these conversations, he found out that Melly had been using code words to keep Mariah from testifying against him. It seemed like Melly was going to extreme lengths to cover things up. He couldn't use the phone, so he passed notes and got others involved to send messages, doing whatever it took to stop Mariah from speaking out. Melly is said to have used code words to convince people, like Mariah and her mom, not to testify. Words like Rihanna and Rocky's baby mom were used to communicate his message. If Melly is found guilty of witness tampering, he could face a life sentence in prison. This new information, now released in court files, also explains why Melly has been treated so harshly in jail. In an interview, his mother claimed that he hasn't been allowed to use the phone or even see his own mail while locked up. It raises questions about how he's been treated since his arrest, what the feds are accusing is illegal, and if they have proof that Melly was using the jail phone to tamper with witnesses. It explains why he's being treated so badly. Melly hasn't been convicted yet, and even inmates who have been convicted still have the right to use the phone, write letters, and get their mail. But the state says Melly used the phone for witness tampering, so they must have evidence to back that up. If they didn't, they wouldn't be taking away his phone access. I end the interview. Jamie King, Melly's mom, shared how heartbroken she is for her son. She said she feels helpless because he's not even being treated like a person in jail. When she heard Melly talk about how he's been hurt and is scared for his life, it broke her heart. When asked how it made her feel as a mom, she said it was heartbreaking and left her feeling completely helpless. This situation definitely needs to be looked into. It feels like the jail is making up its own rules. They've tried to take the issue to court, but the judge doesn't seem to have control over what happens there. They even had a hearing about how Melly's being mistreated, but the jail just does whatever it wants. That's not fair, and someone needs to be held accountable. The issue caught the attention of rapper OG Boy, who talked about the stress Melly's mom is going through. He shared how his own mom went through something similar and said he could relate. "She's real. Bro, you know she's stressed," he said. "I reached out to him because I understand. I met his mom and she's a good woman." This sparked a big debate online, with some people saying Melly shouldn't be treated this way, while others think he should be released because the jail's actions are illegal. Then, Charleston White also shared his opinion on the matter. Some people believe Melly shouldn't get special treatment and should just deal with his situation. One person even said they're happy he's in jail and being mistreated. They argued that when you take someone's life, you shouldn't have the right to complain about how you're treated. It's a tough view, but it's definitely out there. This all led to Melly's first court hearing for his upcoming second trial, where he looked angry and hadn't had a haircut. But his mood quickly changed when the judge announced his release date. The judge also told Melly he needed to decide who he wanted as his lawyers. After sitting in jail for 2,159 days, everyone, including Melly, was surprised by the news.
This kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and
The judge couldn't believe Melly had been in jail for so long without a conviction. He told the prosecutor, "Give me a solid reason why Melly shouldn't be released, or I'll let him go on bond." Melly's lawyers then stood up in court and gave two main reasons why he should be freed. One of the pieces of evidence they shared came from the original trial involving Melly's ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton. It showed that Melly was texting her in real time when the crime happened and even called her while he was running away from the scene. He told her he was hiding in a bush and mentioned that someone had shot up the car. He asked if she was okay where she was, showing his concern during the situation. "Did I end the call?" Melly told Mariah there was a car behind him and he was hiding. He said something like, "Yeah, I think they're still out here." Mariah asked if he was okay, and he said, "I'm okay." She then asked about Sack and Juvie, and Melly replied, "I don't know if they're in the car. I think they are." The GPS data from Melly's phone that night showed he was running away from the spot where the crime happened and hiding in a bush. Backing up his story, the defense also pointed out that during the trial, the prosecutors had to admit they never found a firearm, which helped support the idea that it was a drive-by shooting. The people who fired the shots drove away immediately. Even with all this evidence, the prosecutors didn't want Melly to be released and fought against it. Despite the growing proof in his favor, the prosecutors created a new file to make sure Melly wouldn't get released on bond. They told the judge that Melly was very close to rapper King Von before Von tragically passed away. Recently, an old O Block member shared a secret about a conversation Melly had with King Von. In it, Melly was asking Von for advice on how to handle a situation where two of your best friends are coming after you for money. This new information added more weight to the case and made things even harder for Melly.
Just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking.
YNW was a registered business, and Melly and Borland were out there performing, selling merch, and promoting for different companies. All the money they made went into the YNW bank account and was split 4 ways between the members. But Melly and Borland started noticing that Sack Chaser and Juvie weren't doing any of the work but were still getting paid the same as those who were actually working. This, allegedly, led to the crime. When you look at the evidence found on Melly's phone during the trial, it makes the situation even worse. It shows the kind of tension that was building up, which may have played a role in what happened hours after the crime. Melly allegedly admitted to it in a text. The PZ Gambino account asked if he was okay, and Melly replied, "I did that," with a smiley face emoji. The next message, sent on October 26, 2018, at 4:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, had a strange response. "What after that SHHHH?" They also found a saved video on Melly's phone from someone's Facebook Live. The video shows Melly and Borland reacting to the crime just 6 hours after it happened. They were sitting nearby, and the footage made the situation even more unsettling. Just hours after the crime, Melly and Borland were seen in a parking lot, recording a music video, dancing, and acting like nothing had happened. Melly was still upbeat, joking around and staying positive, not showing any sadness for the loss of their two best friends. It seemed like nothing had changed for him. Despite everything that had just gone down, things got worse when new charges were brought against both Melly and Borland. The feds raided YNW Borland's home and found some troubling paperwork that raised even more questions about their involvement. YW Borland showed up for just 1 day at Melly's original trial last year. After he left the courtroom, he reportedly wrote down details about where the jurors were sitting, what they looked like, and possibly even their names. These notes were later found during a raid on Borland's home last week. Authorities even released images of these notes just a few days after the raid. YNW Borland was arrested and taken to a Miami jail on an unrelated charge. He is currently being held behind bars. A warrant has been issued in Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant, obtained by Law Crime Network, states that between April 10, 2023 and July 22, 2023, YNW Borland, real name Curlin Henry, and others were involved in trying to mislead someone with the aim of getting them to withhold testimony. The witness was called to testify in the jury trial of Jamal Demons, better known as YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are really important. Jury selection for Melly's trial started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Borland tampered with a witness. This is a serious issue because jurors are supposed to stay hidden and safe throughout the trial. If Melly had been sentenced to life in prison, Borland could have handed off this information to some dangerous people, possibly leading them to take action out of revenge for sentencing his best friend to life. Even DJ Academics had to point it out, saying, "This is sloppy, Borland. How are you going to have the juror's notebook in your house?"
Come on, man.
It's like committing a crime and then leaving the surveillance footage in your DVD player. You know what I mean? Like you're at your house and the footage is just sitting there like it's nothing. Nah, that can't be right.